Now, this is the chapter 14, software reuse of Dr. Rajiv Mal's book on software engineering. These are the question and answers of this chapter. The first question is, why is it important for an organization to undertake an effective reuse program? Reuse means once you have made something, you are employing it again or using it again. So, what are the important reuse artifacts that can be reused, and why is reuse of software component much more difficult than the hardware components? See, the software products are expensive, right? If you're talking about a quality software product, like Indian Railway, like Amazon, all these are giant softwares. So software project managers are worried about high cost of software development and are desperately looking for ways to cut down the development cost. How to cut down the development cost? So possible way is to reduce the development cost is to reuse the already built part from previously developed softwares, because those modules or those parts are already been tested, they are being used, and they have been maintained properly. Maintained means changes have been done according to the environment. So in addition to reduced this development cost and time, reuse also, see, leads to higher quality of the developed products. Since the reusable components are ensured to have high quality because they have been tested already, almost all artifacts associated with the software development, including the project plan and test plan, can be reused. But the prominent items that can be effectively reused are, first of all, requirement specification, design, code, test cases, knowledge. Knowledge is important. The software components are more complicated than the hardware components, and the input output are not standardized. The second question is, identify the reason why reuse of mathematical software is so successful. So successful. Also identify the reason why the reuse of software component other than those of the mathematical software is difficult. See, input and output to mathematical software are standardized. So this is the reason, basic reason, why mathematical software is so successful. Because mathematics is, based on reasoning, based on some logic. So those means if a plus b is there, it will always remain a plus b only. 2 plus 3 will always be 5 only, right? So they are standardized. But what happens with the other codes? They are tailored or made specific to the requirement of the user. Now, reusing that in a different software, like if you want to compute the factorial, you can use it. But what about a attendance system in which some company has the timing of say 4 to 8, and between you have a half hour of tea time, and then all those specifications. So that cannot be easily employed in some other software, but mathematical software does. What do you understand by the term reuse domain? Reuse domain. Explain domain analysis and how domain analysis leads to increased component reusability. A reuse domain is a technically related set of application areas. Technically related set of application areas. So a body of information is considered to be a problem domain for reuse if a deep and comprehensive relationship exists among the information items and are characterized by the patterns of similarity among the development components of the software product. So a reuse domain is a shared understanding of some community characterized by concepts, techniques, and terminologies that show some coherence, means equality, similarity. Examples of domain are accounting software domain, banking software, business software, manufacturing automation software domain, and telecommunication software domain. So one telecommunication software and the other telecommunication software. These two software are going to be quite similar, and they come under a reuse domain. So during domain analysis, a specific community of software developers get together to discuss community-wide solutions. Like, for example, banking. You have different banks. So banking people will sit, or the developers will sit, and they will analyze what banking software solutions are available. Community-wide solutions. So analysis of this application domain is required to identify the reusable components. You see that we have this component is available, this bank has developed, and this is a hit, or this is famous, or employed USP of some software, and it is being available. So you can just buy it or you can reuse it. So the actual construction of reusable components for a domain is called the domain engineering. Let me tell you again. The actual construction of the reusable components for a domain is called the domain engineering. Next is, do you agree with the statement code is the most important reuse artifact that can be used during software development? Justify your answer. No. First of all, people are tempted to answer this as yes. Do you agree with the statement code is the most important reuse artifact? Because they consider, okay, code is there. Code can be easily used. You can use the function directly. or a module directly. But this is not like that. Knowledge is the most important reuse artifact. Knowledge that can be used during the software development. A planned reuse of knowledge can increase the effectiveness of a reuse. For this, the reusable knowledge should be systematically extracted and documented. Extraction is important, documented is even more important. But it is usually very difficult to extract and document reusable knowledge. Next is, what do you understand by the term domain analysis? We have seen just in the previous question, domain analysis. So how does this domain analysis increase your software reusability? See, a reuse domain is technically a related set of application areas. Okay, a body of information is considered to be a problem domain for use if a deep and comprehensive relationship exists among the information items, as characterized by the patterns of similarly among the documents component of the software product. So we have already seen this in the earlier question, so you can answer in a similar way. Let me read it again. The actual the construction of the usable components for a domain is called the domain engineering. Next is identify the stages through which a reuse domain progresses. Stages. There are various stages. These are the stages through which a reuse domain progresses. First stage is there is no clear and consistent set of notations. Obviously, there are no reusable components are available. So all software is written from the scratch. Stage 2 is here only we have experience from similar projects and they are used in a development effort. This means that there is only knowledge reuse. There is nothing here. There is a knowledge and we can reuse the knowledge. Stage 3 is at this stage the domain is ripe for reuse. Now it is ready for reuse. The set of concepts are stabilized and the notations are standardized. Standard solutions to standard problems are available. And there is both knowledge and component reuse. So the domain are being fully explored. This fourth stage, fully explored. The software development for the domain can largely be automated now. And programs are not written in the traditional sense anymore. But programs are written usually using a domain specific language, which is also known as an application generator. Next question is, explain why reuse is difficult in software development compared to hardware development. See, if you have a product, it consists of X, Y, Z component working together. If Z is not there, you can just, or it has stopped functioning. What you are going to do, you will replace the similar Z here, and this system is good to go. But software components are more complicated than hardware components, and the input output are not standardized. This Z is not standardized here in the software. Next is explain why reuse of mathematical function is easier compared to reuse of non-mathematical functions. We have seen already this, because the input and output of mathematical software, they are standardized. They are based on logic, reasoning, and they are already being implemented and tested, and they can be directly reused. Next is, what do you understand by the term faceted classification? Faceted classification in the context of software reuse. Faceted classification. And how does this faceted classification simplify component search in a component statement, component store? So in faceted classification, each component is best described using a number of different characteristics of facet. This is the facets or the characteristics are only the faceted classification. So each component is best described using a number of facets. For instance, objects can be classified using, say, actions they embody, objects they manipulate, data structure they use, system they are part of. So in a faceted classification scheme, searching is more effective than a fully enumerative scheme, since approximate searches can be made. Next question is, explain how the faceted component classification, that is a Preto-dia screen, can be used for approximate searching in a faceted component classification. And what are the advantages of approximate searching over exact searching? The approximate automated search locates product that appear to fulfill some of the specific requirement. So the items located through the approximate search serve as the starting point for browsing the repository. So these serve as the starting point of browsing the repository, and the developer now may follow links to other products until a sufficiently good match is found. Next question is, suppose your team has developed a software product. How would you assess the potential reusability of the developed functions? Now you're talking about a team that has developed a software product. Now you want to assess the potential reusability, whether they may be used or they may not be used. So you have to assess what is the criteria you're going to adopt. So assessment of a component reuse potential can be obtained from an analysis of questionnaire circulated among the developers. These questionnaires can be devised to assess the component's reusability. So the programmers working in similar application domain can be used to answer the questionnaire about the product reusability. So depending on the answer given by the programmers, either the component be taken up for reuse as it is, or it is modified and refined before it is entered into the reuse repository, or it is ignored. A sample questionnaire to assess a component's reusability is like this. First is the component's functionality required for implementation of system in the future? How common is the component function within its domain? Would there be a duplication of functions within the domain if the component is taken up? And is the component hardware dependent or independent? Is the design of the component optimized enough? If the component is non-reusable, then can it be decomposed to yield some reusable components from it? And can we parameterize a non-reusable component so that it becomes reusable? Next question is, in an organizational level software use, identify aspects of developed functions which hamper its reusability, and how can you improve the reusability of the components you have identified for reuse. See, the extraction or extracting reusable component from projects that were completed in the past presents an important difficulty not encountered while extracting a reusable component from an ongoing project. Typically, the original developers are no longer available for consultation only. So development of new systems lead to an assortment of products. Since reusability ranges from items whose reusability is immediate to those items whose reusability is highly improbable. So achieving organizational level reuse requires adoption of these steps. First, we need to assess our assessment of an item's potential for reuse, and then refine the item for greater reusability, and then enter the product in the reuse repository. Next question is, what is an application generator? Why reuse is easier while using an application generator compared to the component library? And what are the shortcomings of the application generator? Application generator, they translate the specifications into application programs. This is the only task they do. So the specification, which is generally written in your 4GL, 4th generation language. The specification might also be in visual form. So the programmer would create a graphical drawing using some standard available symbols, defining what is variant and what is invariant, which correspond to the parameterizing a subroutine to make it reusable. So subroutine parameters are variants because of the programmer can specify them while calling the subroutine, and the parts of subroutine that are not parameterized cannot be changed. So application generators have significant advantages over simple parameterized program. The biggest advantage of this is that the application generators can express the variant information in the appropriate language rather than being restricted to function parameters, name constants, or tables. The other advantages also, like it includes fewer errors, easy to maintain, substantially reduced development effort, and the fact that one need not bother about the implementation details. So application generators are handicapped when it is necessary to support some new concept of features. So some application generators overcome this handicap through the escape mechanism. So how this is done? This programmer can write code in some 3GL through this mechanism. So these were a few questions of Dr. Rajiv Mal's book on software engineering, on software reuse. Thank you so much. Take care.